Hi, friends. I hope everyone's doing well. After the positive response to my recent altered sketchbook videos, I decided to start a new series using sketchbooks and art prompts. I assigned an individual art prompt to work on in each of these 6 different sketchbooks, 3 altered books, and 3 store-bought ones. In this series, I'll be working in an altered magazine sketchbook, an altered hardcover book, a children's board book, along with a spiral-bound Canson, exposed spine artist loft, and Arteza sketchbooks. To keep things interesting, I'm putting the prompts in a jar. I'll pull one at the start of each video. So let's see which sketchbook and prompt we have for today. We're doing a magazine images collage in an altered magazine sketchbook. I added the word surreal, as in surrealism, because I wanted to play with unexpected juxtapositions. I'll talk more about that in a bit. Also, I'll talk more about this series after we start working on this prompt, so let's begin. This is the first time I'm filming a collage session working with magazine images. It was fun to go through the magazine pages when I was making this altered magazine sketchbook a few videos ago and putting some aside to use in future collages. I have shown mostly how to collage using my handmade papers and occasionally using found or vintage ephemera. I'm excited that I pulled this art prompt first because it'll be a challenge for me, as well as switching up my collage style for at least this one video. I want to mention a collage artist named Laura Henneforth, who I follow here on YouTube and Instagram. She's an inspiration for this type of collage style. I'll link all her social media in the description box so you can check out her art. Let's go over the magazine images I pulled along with the supplies. These 2 images are the initial inspiration for this collage. I love this image of a woman mid-jump on a skateboard. I especially like that she's wearing a skirt and a hat. If I remember the article in National Geographic correctly, she's from Bolivia. Also, I pulled this world sculpture because I thought it'd be fun if she was jumping over it. This is where surrealism and unexpected juxtaposition come into play. Maybe she could jump over this seemingly large sculpture if there was a ramp or something to help her to get enough height, but more than likely not. That's where surrealism comes into play. Other images I pulled, but not sure if I'm going to use, are these images of maps. One or more of these images could be a good ground layer. I think this frog image is fun and may add a bit of whimsy to the collage. This aerial tram is another possibility for the ground layer, or instead of the world sculpture, the skater could be jumping over this image. The last paper I pulled is this image of clouds. It could be another good ground layer for the skater and the world sculpture. It'd be an interesting ground layer without taking away from the focal point of the skater jumping over the world. I'm keeping the supplies simple with a glue stick, small size scissors, an X-Acto knife because I'll need to fussy cut at least the skater, and finally the cutting mat. I'm looking for a page that has an image that I can incorporate into the collage or one that I don't mind covering completely. Some of the map images could work as a good ground layer. I decided on a page that I don't mind covering up. None of the map pages worked for me. Either the map was going in the wrong direction or not enough of it was covering the whole page. Using a page that I can cover up gives me more options on what image to use on the ground layer. I'm cutting away some of the excess paper so only the skater remains. I'll come back and do a better job of fussy cutting before it's glued in place. At this stage, I'm playing around with the ground layer and the placement of all the elements to get the layout I want. It was a quick decision to choose this clouds image, which doesn't always happen for me. I'm an artist who likes to have options. If you watch any of my other videos, I tend to pull a large stack of papers to have many options when collaging. When cutting it, I'm leaving more of the page than just the clouds. Besides pulling a lot of papers for collages, I tend to cut papers larger than necessary, especially at this stage when I'm still working on the placement of the elements. I'd rather have too much paper and have to cut it smaller than cut too small initially and try to make it work. I decided to use a glue stick instead of gel or liquid medium because it's not necessary. In my previous video, I used liquid medium to show how the magazine page would react to it, and because I was using transparent papers. Those papers keep their transparent look when using liquid medium instead of a glue stick. Quick tip, it's best not to glue papers directly against the gutter of a sketchbook. Leave a small space so the glued papers don't wrinkle or damage when the sketchbook is closed. I'm cutting off the excess cloud paper using an X-Acto knife because it yields a cleaner cut. The scissors have short blades that are good for fussy cutting, but not good for straight cuts. I realized I forgot to mention having a ruler earlier when I went over supplies. It's always good to have one on hand when collaging. I recommend placing the ruler on the paper you want to keep instead of the paper you want to cut away. If the ruler happens to slip, you don't want to cut part of the paper you want to keep by mistake. There's enough of the excess cloud image to fill in the area in the lower right. One more check, then I'll cut the cloud paper to fit this area. Then I'll decide on the placement of the remaining cloud paper to hide the leftover text area. Do a final trim and glue it down. I want to talk a bit about why I'm using art prompts. If you haven't used them before, they're a great tool for those days when you want to create and you're not sure where to start. They also help if you feel like your art is getting a bit stale or if you want a new challenge. My plan is to release a few more of these videos this month to see if you find them helpful and enjoyable. If you like this format, I have a whole list of other prompts we can work on throughout the year. I'll still be making my other types of videos as well, but I thought this would be a fun way to work through these different sketchbooks. Here's the finished collage. I would like to occasionally have videos showing how to create this style of collage on my channel if there's interest. Also, let me know if you like this series so I know to continue with more videos this month. One more thing before we go, I'd like to include grayscale versions of my collages to see the value contrast. Even though I didn't talk about it in this video, I was aware of the values in each element. Using grayscale is something I recommend when working on collages or any type of art to check for value contrast. That's it for today. Again, let me know if you like this video series. Thanks for watching. Take care.